Another week of comics are in the books, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 5 best books of the week, and of course, reviewing each and every single one of the books that I picked up from my local comic shop. Thank you all so much for clicking on this video. My name is Alex, and this is Graphic Novel Collector. There was a ton of books this week, so I don't want to waste any of your time. Let's not waste a moment. Let's jump into this one, and a book that I'm sure all of you are wanting to hear about. This is One World Under Doom. Of course, Marvel Comics, Ryan North and R.B. Sylvia. So, Doom is Sorcerer Supreme, but is this book any good? Well, first off, I want to talk about the art, and I really enjoy the art. R.B. Sylvia, absolutely crushing it. I have been pretty critical of Marvel's artists in previous videos and just in general, but I gotta say, this art is drawn well. The coloring is pretty good. There are some dynamic scenes in here. And yeah, I really like the art in this book. What about the story, though? Well, I'm a big Ryan North fan, and I like the current Fantastic Four run. He seems to get the characterization of a lot of characters down. And I really liked the Deadpool Wolverine Extraction one shot that he did not too long ago. It really made Deadpool seem like a character that I could enjoy again, and he didn't seem too flanderized. I said that in my preview video. But One World Under Doom suffers the same fate that a lot of other big event books with a ton of characters. It's just everybody's got to get their stuff in. It's like the Royal Rumble of, if you're a pro wrestling fan, you'll get that reference. But everybody's got to get their stuff in, and it kind of suffers from that. That being said, I did like the book. I really did like the book. We're setting things up. Basically, Doom has taken over the world and has mind-controlled, or maybe not, all of the world's leaders to becoming a province of Latveria. So every single country on the planet has become part of Doom's Latveria, and he's promising free healthcare and free education and things that in theory seem like a solid idea, but of course Doom is Doom and has nefarious things happening underneath. So that being said, One World Under Doom, I did like it. It suffers the same fate that every big crossover book suffers, in that the cast is just so bloated. We have so many freaking characters. It gives you kind of a rundown of the main players in the book, and there's a ton of them. You get the Avengers here, and there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 Avengers in this book, and then you got the Fantastic Four, of course, plus Alicia Masters, and then you got Squirrel Girl, Nancy Whitehead, Brain Drain, Spider-Man, and Doctor Strange. So that's Infinity Billion characters just in issue number 1 alone. There was a nice little twist at the end. Of course, it's a comic book, and it's a number 1 comic book, so they have to leave you with some kind of cliffhanger. Overall, though, I thought this was a solid book. I will give it 3 out of 5 stars. I enjoyed it, but the bloated cast kind of just takes it down a notch. I really do like Ryan North's writing, though. He writes the funny characters in a good way. Ryan North is a great comedic writer. That being said, huge cast, can't give it more than 3 stars. But if you came here for this video to hear about One World Under Doom, there you go. You can click away. I hope you don't. And I hope that if you enjoy this kind of content, you like and, of course, subscribe. Let me know, though, what are you reading in the comments section? I love to chop it up with you. But moving on, we've got Cable. This is Love and Chrome, issue number 2. Of course, Marvel Comics. It is how much was this book? $4, so not too bad. Cable, Love and Chrome, issue number 1 was pretty good. You want to talk about the art off the rip? This is by, who is this by? Oh, David Pepos, and the artist is Mike Henderson, who I don't know too much about. But the art in this book, I actually really enjoy it. I am definitely kind of out there when it comes to my art taste. I'm not a huge... I do like traditional comic book art. The Jim Lees of the world. The George Perez's of the world. Like, I do like traditional artwork. But that being said, I do like some other kinds of styles. And this isn't the cleanest art in terms of, like, technical prowess. That being said, I really like it. It's energetic. I kind of gave away a little bit of a spoiler there. I do apologize for that in a tender moment. But basically, in this book, we've got, of course, Cable and Avery Ryder. Avery Ryder also has the techno-organic virus that Cable has. And, of course, he's in the time stream somewhere. I don't think they nailed down the exact time, but it is in the future. And they're fighting against, basically a corporation. But Avery and Cable obviously bonding, as you saw in that panel that I just shared. But no, I really enjoy this book. This book has been sweet. The first book was surprisingly really, really well done. I went into it hoping for the best and then being surprised that for the most part, the book kind of stood up to my standards and kind of what I was expecting. But there are some really tender and emotional moments that I wasn't expecting from this book. Just because it is a Cable book and it is kind of like 90s, muscles and guns. But there are some tender moments and some emotional points in this book. I really am liking it. And yeah, we're doing a great job here. Of course, cliffhanger in this one. It's a comic book. There's always going to be a cliffhanger to get you to read the next one. But Cable, Love, and Chrome, I'm going to give 3.5 stars. I'm actually really loving this. The story's not anything really to write home about, but that's not to say that it's bad. And I'm really liking it. Cable's a great character, and I think that Pepos has a good understanding for these characters, and this new character, Avery Ryder, is a ton of fun, and not just a exact carbon copy of Cable, which I think that they could have done that. And thankfully, for this book's sake, they did not. All right, moving on, we have Bug Wars. Excuse me, Bug Wars. Issue number 1 from Image Comic Books. This is, of course, Jason Aaron's new title. First off, out of the gates, I do want to talk about the art. I am not a huge fan of this art, and it's nothing really against the artist or anything like that. I don't know. I can't really. I also think the fact that, like, they're bugs. Like, I'm not a big bug guy, I don't like bugs, really. I don't really feel any type of way towards bugs, but I basically picked this up because it's Jason Aaron, and I wanted to check it out. Mohammed Asar is the artist. Not very familiar with them, but basically what the deal is with this book is this family, mother and 2 sons, moving back into a family home. One of the sons is, like, kind of obsessed with bugs, the younger son, and the older son, like, watched their dad, like, found their dad dead, and he was, like, all decrepit looking and nasty looking, because these bugs, like, I guess he was some kind of bug guy, like, trying to figure out remedies and things that bugs could do for humankind or something. I don't know. But yeah, it is, like, literally a bug war. We have, the first couple of scenes, they're battling. At a certain point, one of the kids does get basically transformed to the bug world. I don't think that's too much of a spoiler because we wouldn't have much of a story if nothing really happened. But yeah, the older brother hates bugs and is, like, trying to kill all the bugs with, like, essentially raid. And so that was pretty funny. Overall, well written. I did appreciate the writing, and a nice story, but overall, just the bug theme just doesn't really speak to me at all. If you like bugs and you're super outdoorsy, or you collect ants or have an ant farm or whatever, collect ants, whatever. This is probably right up your alley. The whole bug theme though just doesn't speak to me. It's well written. Like, Jason Aaron's a good writer, but it didn't really speak to me. I'm just gonna give it 3 stars, not because it's bad, but it's not, the vibes were not for me. That's all. The vibes were just not for me. It's a good book. If you enjoy bugs, are into nature a lot, it might be worth it. Obviously, it's science fiction because homie gets transformed into a little, bug-sized person. And no, it was a good book though. 3 stars though, not for me. I'm probably not gonna pick this up. I did want to check it out just to see. It's kind of a hot book. Jason Aaron's on the come up right now. So Bug Wars, 3 stars. So on to the top 5 though. We have Absolute Batman DC All In, issue number 5, $4.99. This is, of course, Scott Snyder, Nick Dragotta back on the art, and we are picking up right from where we left off in issue number 3. First off, art is phenomenal. Nick Dragotta is unlike any other comic book artist really going right now. I'm still liking this series. It's big, it's dumb, it's flashy, it's bombastic, it's awesome. It's awesome. I don't want to say it's one of the. It's not a book where you turn your brain off, because I feel like that's a bad thing. That being said, you can kind of just vibe out and read this thing. You can rip through this thing probably in like 3 minutes if you were really trying. But basically, this is almost the conclusion to the Black Mask Gang. Now, we do have a thing at the end where the story's not quite over, but it is moving forward. It is progressing. I love when comic books progress. I hate when, like what Amazing Spider-Man's been doing. We're just squeezing as much juice out of an orange, that has nothing left to give. Absolute Batman is not doing that. We are actually progressing the story, which I appreciate. We have some nice tender moments, of course, between Gordon and Bruce from when his dad passed away, and with the shooting at the zoo, and there you go. Kind of a little spoiler, I guess, but can't have Batman without the bat signal. But what it's made of is pretty cool. No, I'm liking the series. I'm liking the series a lot. It's fun. Scott Snyder. I know you're either a Snyder bro or you're not a Snyder bro. And I guess I'm a Snyder bro. I don't know. Absolute Batman, though, issue number 5. I'll give 5. No, not 5 stars. 4 stars. 4 stars. Still a solid book. Still liking it. And especially when Dragotta's on the art here, it just ramps it up. Dragotta's art is almost worth a star on its own. So, Absolute Batman, issue number 5. Loving it. Loving it. Loving it. All right, next up, we have, this one is Mine is a Long, Lonesome Grave. Justin Jordan, Chris Sheehan, issue number 1 from Oni Press. Again, do want to talk about the art here. Look at this. It is stylistic. It is pretty awesome. What we're dealing with here is family curse, possibly. Maybe some drug money. I'm not sure exactly. I do want to say the writing in this book has a very poetic feel. Not only just the dialogue, but just the writing, the actual writing. Now, there is a lot of dialogue in this, but basically, this man coming back to his hometown, somewhere outside of Briar Falls. I think that's West Virginia, it said. But basically, this man's wife was killed in some way. We don't know quite exactly how. His daughter is staying with his uncle, who I guess is a pastor of a church. So there are some, obviously, biblical, not shenanigans, but some biblical things happening here. There's like hexes and curses. This book was pretty cool. I really liked the writing style, and I really, really enjoyed the art. It isn't your typical house style, Marvel or DC house style. It is very stylized. And I, as I previously said, really enjoy that kind of art. But mine is A Long, Lonesome Grave. I highly suggest it if you like the occult, if you like creepy things. It seems like it could be a horror kind of book. That being said, it's just kind of creepy. It's not really scary, but it kind of has a creepy edge to it. I would say like a thriller vibe, not like thriller, but like it's kind of like a thriller vibe. Demonic forces definitely in play here. I enjoyed it. I suggest you check it out. I'll give it 3.5 stars. Mine is A Long, Lonesome Grave by Justin Jordan, Oni Press. Don't have many Oni Press books. Next up at number 3, we've got Transformers. Excuse me. Issue number 17 by Image Comics is Dana Warren Johnson, Jorge Corona on the art, and Mike Spicer on the colors. And this book does not miss, folks. Every episode is a certifiable banger. And I'm happy to say this book is still chugging right along. Dana Warren Johnson is on this book until issue number 24. Will I continue it afterwards? Find out next time on Dragon Ball Z. I don't know. We've got a lot of things happening, though, in this book. You've got the Earth War. You've got the war on Cybertron. And, of course, you still have the human characters here. Still, I think they're with, what is that, RC and Cliff Jumper? I don't remember. But anyway, bombastic things happening. This book's so sick, though. The fact that Dana Warren Johnson has made me give a shit about a Transformers book. Transformers, I don't care about Transformers outside of this. Now, that being said, I am becoming a Transformers fan because of Dana Warren Johnson and Jorge Corona and what they're doing on this book. But before this, I was not a Transformers fan. I'm liking the book. It makes you care. They're blowing up they're going after Seattle. The Decepticons are going after Seattle, and it's crazy. I mean, this book is going in depth, and there's a huge reveal. I wish I did know more about the IP, about Transformers, because almost every book there's like a huge reveal of like, oh, a new character, a new Autobot, a new Decepticon. Unfortunately, I don't know any of the characters, so I feel, and I'm like, oh, snap, that dude looks dope. But like, if I had a deeper understanding of the Transformers lore and their characters, I think this would be hitting on, it would be hitting like crack. But unfortunately, it's not the case. I'm like, oh, that's sick. That guy looks cool. But I don't have, the lore or the knowledge to know, yo, that guy's this person's enemy, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't have that. So Transformers, issue number 17, we're going to give a solid 4 stars. This was a good book, solid book. Daniel Warren Johnson still crushing it. Speaking of Daniel Warren Johnson, The Moon is Following Us came out, so you know it's going to be in the top 5 for me. This is The Moon is Following Us, Daniel Warren Johnson, Riley Rossmo, Mike Spicer. Daniel Warren Johnson is writing and co-doing art with Riley Rossmo. Moon is Following Us is a story of these two parents. At this point, they are just they're getting beat down. They're getting beat down. The art, of course, pretty darn solid. But last issue, we got introduced to Penny's nightmares. So the young girl's nightmares came in to try and save the day. But the parents have been taking L's every single issue. And finally, they get kind of excuse me, kind of a W in this book. They realize that Pigface kind of sold them, was a snake oil salesman and kind of turncoat as well, and sold them a bunch of weapons that really don't work in Penny's mind, because in Penny's mind, like, in a child's mind, yeah, guns are obviously effective, but what is more effective than this freaking, big box that is indestructible, or a shark that mom has speared and is now taking out members of the Cascade with the shark, and there's this big old box. It's kind of like a big tote, or I don't know, but I guess maybe it's like a cooler or something. But yeah, it's so funny. It's so endearing. Daniel Warren Johnson makes you care so much about every single character in all of his books. I'm loving this series. I've seen some other YouTubers criticize it because they say it's kind of meandering a little bit, but I disagree. I think we're moving forward. Every issue has a big moment or a big turn where we're revealing more layers, and it's like an onion. A story is like an onion. It's got layers. It's got layers, and I'm really loving this. I would say this is a 4-star book for sure. I always get the Daniel Warren Johnson variant cover because Daniel Warren Johnson is one of my favorite artists and writers. But yeah, The Moon is Following Us, absolutely phenomenal. Loving it, loving it, loving it. Let me know, what are you thinking of The Moon is Following? And last but certainly not least, number 1 is going to be Feral. This is issue 10. I always get the horror-themed variant cover. Feral issue 10. What can I say about Feral? Holy moly! The lady whose house all the cats were, in, well, she has apparently passed away in front of the door, so the cats cannot get out of the basement. These are all of our main character cats, too. So they're stuck in the basement. They're like, how do we get out of here? And one of them proposes, well, let's just eat. Let's eat her. What? Now it's not cannibalism because it's cats eating humans, but what in the world is this book? It is so brutal. It is so gory. It is so just disgusting in all the right ways. I'm absolutely loving Feral. Issue 10 was another banger issue, and Feral's just awesome. This book, 4.5 stars for sure. Might be my favorite book in this issue in the series. It's all gas, no brakes for this book. And gosh, I want to show you this page, but I don't want to give anything away. Because you should read it. It's so good. I can only show you the first couple pages because that's all that it is. Tony Fleece. Who is this? Tony Fleece. Tone Rodriguez and Trish Forstner absolutely crushing it on Feral. This is issue 10, the pick of the week, the number 1 book for me of the week. Feral issue 10. You should be reading this, especially if you're a cat fan, if you're a zombie, if you're a horror fan. You don't need to be any of those things, but this book is phenomenal. Just read it. 4.5 stars this week. To go back through everything, we've got Feral. Was the pick of the week, was the best book, in my opinion, of the week, of the books that I read. Feral number 10. Then we've got The Moon is Following Us. Absolutely excellent. Daniel Warren Johnson, Riley Rossmo, Mike Spicer crushing it. I'm loving it. It's very heartfelt, especially if you're a parent. Even if you're not a parent, I think that this is required reading, but especially if you're a parent, this thing hits hard. Moving on to, 3? So we've got number 3 here. This is Transformers. Whether you care about Transformers as the IP, the story, or not, you're going to love this series. There's 2 trades out, so if you haven't gotten into it, definitely great way to get into it. Pick up those trades. Next up, at number 4, the 4th best book, in my opinion, mine is A Long Lonesome Grave. Spooky, demonic vibes. Art is really solid. Very poetic flow to everything in this book. Really loving it. Next up at number 5, Absolute Batman. Issue number 5. Really loving it. When Nick Dragotta's on the art, it takes it up a level. It really does. Bug Wars. Bug Wars was good. Jason Aaron, I like what he's doing. The vibe is just, I'm not a bug guy. Are you a bug guy or gal or person? Let me know in the comments. Do you rock with bugs? Then we got Cable. Loving Chrome. I'm still liking it. Really digging it. The characterization of Cable's really good. The art is sick. It's not like a house style. It feels more edgy and gritty. And it doesn't feel like a paint by number story, which they could have done. It's much better than that. And last but certainly not least, One World Under Doom. Bloated roster. Other than that, though, very, very solid book. All right, thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy this one, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so we can keep having some conversations about comics. I appreciate y'all. I need to go get some water because I've been talking for about 25 minutes straight about comics, but I love it. Thank you all so much. And until next time, I will catch you on the flippy flop. Make sure to follow me on all my social medias. They'll be linked below, and on League of Comic Book Geeks, where you can sometimes get my reviews before they actually go up on the videos. I appreciate y'all, and I'll catch y'all on the flippy flop. Adios, everyone.